Hey everybody, Mr. Reeves with you today. And today we are looking at adding and subtracting rational numbers. All right, so a few principles that would be good for us to remember before we go on and do some specific examples. Let's see this right here. Let's write a few things down. All right, first of all, a rational number. Remembering what a rational number is, all right? A rational number is any number that can be written as a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0. All right, so that's an important definition that I hope you will never forget. A rational number is any number that can be written as a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0. So what do those typically look like? All right, well, we can have a fraction, and the fraction is when it is written as a over b. And by the way, if a is greater than b, then it is an improper fraction, okay? That means it's going to be bigger than 1. All right, we can also have a mixed number. All right, so a mixed number might be when we have something like this, all right, where a is a whole number. Actually, you know what? A for a rational number could be an integer, because we'll go ahead and throw that sign on there. And then that part right there is a fraction. Okay? And then finally, the third way we can represent a rational number is as a decimal. All right? And a decimal is when we would have something like a point C, right? Something like that, where here is our decimal point. And then we would have the place values like that. So rational numbers can be written as a over b. So a fraction obviously is already written as a fraction. A mixed number can be changed to a fraction, and a decimal can be changed to a fraction. All right? So that's what a rational number is. Remember, we have a number line that we use to represent the position of numbers. All right, in the middle of that number line, we usually put 0. Everything to the right is positive, everything to the left is negative. As we go this way, the values get larger, and as we go this way, the values get smaller. All right, and then if we want the values to get larger, we can add a positive. If we want the values to get smaller, we can add a negative. Another way we can make the values get larger is we can subtract a positive. And another way we can make the values get smaller is we can, excuse me, that's not correct. To make the values get larger, we subtract a negative. My apologies. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. Let me fix this. So you can get larger by adding a positive or subtracting a negative, and you can get smaller by adding a negative or subtracting a positive. All right? So again, a rational number, any number that can be written as a fraction, a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0. And we can represent rational numbers as a fraction, including improper fractions, where the top number is bigger than the small number. We can represent a rational number as a mixed number, where you have an integer, a whole number, or the opposite of a whole number, a negative whole number out front with a fraction after it. Or you can have a decimal value. By the way, just a reminder, rational decimals will either terminate or have a pattern. If a decimal number does not terminate and does not follow a pattern, then it will be irrational. But we're only dealing with rationals here. And again, on the number line, everything to the right of the number line is positive. Everything to the left of the number line is negative. As you go to the right on the number line, the numbers get larger. As you go to the left, they get smaller. If you want to make a value larger, you can add a positive or you can subtract a negative. And if you want to make a value get smaller, you can add a negative or you could subtract a positive. All right, so this is just a basic introduction to adding and subtracting rational numbers. All right, in our next video, we're going to go ahead and look at some examples of each of those.